We begin this morning, though, with the latest from the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. And we know that President Biden and the First Lady will be in Florida Wednesday to tour areas devastated by the storm.
Yeah, one major area of concern, getting the power back on. Some 50,000 electrical workers are making progress to get 500,000 homes back online in 24 hours. But the big story this morning is the human impact. So far, 87 people are confirmed dead after Hurricane Ian tore through their areas. And sadly, that number is expected to grow. In the hardest hit areas, rescue crews are still going door to door and combing through all of that rubble to try to find victims and survivors. We have full coverage this morning, starting with NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns in hard-hit Fort Myers Beach. And Dasha, I know you were embedded with the Florida task force there performing those important search and rescue operations. What was that experience like?
Hey, Stephen, good morning. Yeah, we spent much of the day yesterday with Florida Task Force 2, one of the search and rescue task forces that FEMA has, going out, as you said, door to door to homes, trying to find folks that might still need rescue and looking for those individuals that are missing. And, you know, you see some of this devastation behind me here. Take that and multiply it over and over and over, and you might get a small sense of the enormity of this devastation, and also, Stephen, of the scale and the scope of the search and rescue and recovery effort. This is such a massive catastrophe, and the amount of work that has to get done in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and in the months after these cameras leave is just mind-boggling. As we were driving and walking through that damage, it looked like someone just took a baseball bat to a toy dollhouse. That is what homes that people had lived in for decades looked like. And these rescue workers, you've got the federal folks with FEMA. You've also got people who are in this local community, people from the Fort Myers area, people from the surrounding area that are dealing with their own tragedies, and also helping in this search and rescue effort that is so urgent right now, because there are still people missing out there, Stephen.
And Dasha, we were taking a look at some aerial views of that damage left behind. A huge undertaking right here. I was surprised the FEMA director says this search and rescue operation is the largest it has ever conducted. If you would talk us through the process that these teams are going through right now.
Yeah, let me give you just a couple of numbers to give you a sense here. FEMA tells us that they have a total of 17 urban search and rescue task forces, 104 boat squads, 48 canines in the field, with 18 more still coming, and a total of 1,289 personnel so far, and that is likely going to be growing in the coming days here. Speaking of those canines, let me walk you through how this process works, because we got a firsthand look at it yesterday. Stephen, there's a preliminary search where they're taking a look, seeing any signs of life, unfortunately also looking for any signs of death. And yesterday we were on the ground when the task force had to call in what they call a human remains canine. That's a dog that comes in when there is a suspicious circumstance. Yesterday there was a suspicious odor coming from a home where there was a 90-year-old woman reported missing. That dog came in, did its search, and alerted with a bark, which helped the search and rescue team kind of narrow the area where they were looking. And it's this kind of slow, methodical process that we witnessed that also comes with this gravity, with this sadness here. I want you to listen to one of the fire chiefs that we spoke with about how they go about this process. Listen.
It is methodical, it's systematic, it is dangerous, and as you can see as you look around how quiet it is with all these rescuers on the scene, it's also a process that is done with the highest degree of respect possible for the loved ones that have been lost here.
Stephen, that quietness that the chief was talking about there, that was maybe the most chilling part of our day yesterday, just to see this devastation, this destruction, but hear so little, even as these efforts continued, the way that they so slowly and carefully were removing that debris. Not big bulldozers, not a big hubbub, not a lot of commotion. Quiet, methodical, respectful, Stephen.
And Dasha, we don't have a lot of time left, but I did want to ask, what are people on the ground telling you about what they're going through?
Yeah, we don't have time. I want to take you straight to Jesse and Vinny, who are an example of what so many people are going through. They've been in this community for a long time. They watched their neighbors get rescued, watched some of their neighbors, unfortunately, not survive. Take a listen to our conversation yesterday.
It was like a river, just a river going through there with like 3-foot waves.
It was white water rip.
I mean, it was
running through as high as the house. High as the foundation there, the beam.
40 years here. What's it like to wake up every morning now and see your neighborhood like this?
It'll come back better. It'll come back better.
Stephen, they are traumatized but optimistic. They've even taken in some people whose homes were destroyed who are living with them right now, trying to do all they can to help this community move forward. Stephen?
All those individual stories of trauma. Dasha Burns, thank you.
Now, Naples, Florida was another city hit hard by Ian. Naples Fire Chief Pete DeMaria joins us now. Good morning, Chief. Thank you so much for your time during this difficult and busy week. First, just what is the latest on the ongoing search and rescue operations in your area?
Well, we've been doing well with our search and rescue. We've completed our first search through the part of the community that was hit the hardest, and we feel like we're in a good place now. We have some strike teams of engines in the station right now, and we're responding to all the calls as the power starts to come on. There's been multiple structure fires throughout the community, and we're doing our best to respond to everything and control everything. But we're in a better place today than we were yesterday, and we plan to be in a better place tomorrow than we are today.
To your knowledge, just based on what you've dealt with so far over the past few days, do you anticipate that there are more rescues to execute?
At this point, I think we're in good shape as far as the rescues. We've pretty much completed everything, and we have accounted for all of our welfare checks. So I think we're in a good place here in Naples.
Oh, that's great news. That's good to hear. We saw videos actually that your fire department posted last week. It showed your firehouse flooded, your fire trucks, equipment were submerged in water. Talk us through how extensive the damage was to the firehouse, what it means for your operations right now, but then also just put in context for us what that looks like with the rest of your community and structural damage.
Well, we're dedicated to service, so we hung in here as much as we could to respond to the community. We made that choice. The floodwaters came up quickly. We did lose some equipment, but the station is in great shape. We're in it right now. We're operating out of it. We have a strike team in here that's helping us run calls with that one piece of apparatus being out of service. But we're doing well. We're certainly we've turned a corner on from the time the station flooded, and we're responding out there, and we're serving the community the way they should be.
Chief, as we enter this new week, what are you most concerned about?
Well, we certainly hope that we continue to restore power throughout the community. Every time there's another section that gets power, I think spirits are uplifted a little bit. We're out there clearing streets and picking up debris. So things are going to start attempting to get back to a little more normal. We certainly have a lot of challenges ahead of us and many days of work. But I think our community is starting to come back strong.
That is so great to hear. Naples Fire Chief Pete DeMaria, we're thinking about your community. Again, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Ian has moved out, but some flooding risks remain.
Yeah, meteorologist Michelle Grossman joins us now for more on this to give us the latest. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. And yeah, we continue to watch what's left over from Ian impacting the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. It was a wet weekend. We had heavy rain in spots, and we're seeing heavy rain falling this morning. You can see by those darker colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows. That's where we're seeing the heaviest rain falling. And this will be the case as we go throughout this Monday, also Tuesday, the early part of Wednesday, and then we're finally going to clear Ian out and hopefully not say that word again, because most likely this will be a retired name, but we'll find that out from the National Hurricane Center. Now, as we go throughout time here, we're going to watch the remnants of Ian bringing the heavy rain, also bringing really gusty winds gusting up to 45 miles per hour at times. Could bring some coastal flooding as well. That is a concern, especially along the mid-Atlantic coast and northeast coast. We could see 1 to 3 foot surf. We could see some flooding along the coast as well. And we're going to see the chance for some flash flooding as well, because we're going to see some heavy rain at times. The remnants continue offshore on Tuesday. You can see that counterclockwise flow bringing in those rains, and still seeing those brighter colors indicating where we're going to see the heaviest rain falling. So there will be pockets of heavy rain still tomorrow, and then those showers linger into Wednesday. before they finally move out. Now, we do have a flash flood risk today where you see the blue, so mainly in portions of southern New Jersey into Delaware, also Maryland. So along the coast there, because we're looking at really saturated soil. It's been raining for days and days, and we're going to add to that as we go throughout the day. 16 million also impacted by coastal flooding or the expectation of coastal flooding. An advisory is in the blue. A warning is in the red. So we could see significant flooding in low-lying areas. The water 1 to 3 above ground level. That's a storm surge. So that will be a story as we go throughout today. Additional rainfall, 1 to 3 inches of rain. We could see locally higher amounts. So again, especially in portions of southern New Jersey, also Delaware and Maryland. Peak wind gusts, we could see winds gusting up to 45 miles per hour, but still in Boston, could see winds gusting up to 29 miles per hour. So it's a raw day. It's cool, it's cloudy, it's damp, and it's windy. And we're going to see those temperatures reflecting that. So well below normal for this time of year. It's going to feel like mid-November in spots in the mid-Atlantic. D.C. today just 57. That is 15 degrees below normal for this time of year. Back to you guys.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much. We'll check in with you in a little bit.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Florida homeowners struggling to pick up the pieces from the destruction of Ian are now beginning to face a brand new crisis: flood insurance or the lack thereof. A new report shows only 29% of the homes inside the 9 counties that were declared disaster areas actually had the insurance. That means for the rest, repairs will have to come out of their own pocket. NBC News correspondent Blaine Alexander spoke to some of those homeowners about those rising costs.
Well, here in Fort Myers Beach, you really don't have to look far to find people who either don't have flood insurance at all or their policies just aren't enough. And experts say it's a problem that's more common than not.
For John Banis, there's nothing that compares to seeing 10 years of your life and livelihood look like this.
First thing, I had to pull up here and stand on top of the pile and, basically cry because, it's a lot of hard work.
He says rebuilding Cortez Bait and Seafood could cost nearly $500,000. The problem is his insurance won't even cover half of that. A higher policy, he says, just wasn't in the budget.
You never really think ahead of something like this going to happen. You're already paying a mortgage payment, and then you're struggling a little to begin with. So
would that have just been too expensive
well,
at that
point? Well, it probably
point?
would have just been too expensive, yeah.
A similar situation for Randy Beatty.
Yeah, that's the couch and the recliner and stuff there. So
all that's gone.
Yeah.
He canceled his flood insurance about 8 years ago when the premiums got too high, he says. But when Ian hit, the water that spilled into his condo nearly reached the ceiling.
There's a lot of people that probably are in the same shape as me. Same boat. We're all in the same boat here.
According to the Insurance Information Institute, only about 18% of Florida homeowners have flood insurance, most of that through the federal government.
The further you get away from the coastline, I think you're going to find more people who do not have flood insurance.
Including Central Florida, parts of which saw record rainfall during Ian. There, fewer than 5% of homes have federal flood insurance. Banis is now doing what he can to help his neighbors while sorting out his own next steps.
It's just, what do you do? What do you do next?
And for the many people who do not have flood insurance, they can apply for FEMA assistance. Right now, people in 13 different Florida counties are eligible for that relief. And already the agency says more than 80,000 people have started that application process. Back to you.
Wow. All right, Blaine, thank you.
Now, the president and the first lady are planning to visit Florida on Wednesday. But before that, the Bidens are heading to Puerto Rico today. The island is still dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Fiona, which hit the U.S. territory 2 weeks ago. So far, there are 25 confirmed deaths related to that storm. And while the focus may be on the impact Ian has had on Florida, the head of FEMA insists that Puerto Rico will not be forgotten.
We have not left Puerto Rico. We know that they're still responding to the impacts that they had from Hurricane Fiona. We have a strong team that's been there working. They're going to continue to work, and I'm going to be traveling with the president tomorrow to talk to people firsthand with him and make sure, right? We just want to make sure that we are giving them everything that they need to support their recovery efforts.
NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli joins us now for more on this. Mike, always great to see you. So this is actually Biden's first trip to Puerto Rico as president. And over the weekend, he said, we owe Puerto Rico a hell of a lot more than they've already gotten. Walk us through what we can expect from this visit and what that means he's promising to the people there.
Yeah, good to be with you, Savannah. The recurring theme that we're going to be hearing from the president throughout this week with his trip to Puerto Rico today and to Florida on Wednesday is that the federal government is prepared to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to help these communities dealing with these devastating hurricanes. And part of that from the president is going to start with his visit to Ponce, Puerto Rico today. He's going to start with a meeting with officials there on the ground, talking about what has the federal government response been so far, what more does Puerto Rico need. He's also then going to give remarks in which we expect him to announce that the administration is giving more than $60 million in funding through the infrastructure law to shore up levees, to strengthen flood walls, to create a new flood warning system to help Puerto Rico become better prepared for these kinds of storms in the future. We also then will see the president and the first lady taking part in a service opportunity, making some of these bags with food and other essential items to help those who are still without housing. This is a commitment that the president says will be more than just one visit, but over the long term.
Now, Mike, the Biden administration had come under fire for its response to the damage from Fiona, again, just a couple of weeks ago. Initially, the disaster declaration didn't cover the whole island. That has now changed, but then there's also been criticism about the time it's taken for federal aid to reach those hardest hit communities. Talk to us about the challenges that the president is expected to face on this trip, given that criticism, that backdrop. What's the reception going to be like?
And Savannah, this is a recurring issue we find with Puerto Rico, given its unique political status, right? It's a territory of the U.S. It doesn't have elected representation in Washington. So sometimes the response is slower than it should be. But the president is going to try and overcome that today. And you know what, Savannah, it's hard to see a president visit Puerto Rico and not think back to what we saw with the last president, throwing the paper towels, a scene that the White House is eager to avoid this time around. And so what the White House is saying as the president prepares to travel there today is that Biden has made Puerto Rico a priority for long term, not just on this visit, that already the $60 million he's announcing today is part of $5 billion in additional funds that have been made available to the island, and that this is a commitment that he'll see through for the long term as well.
All right, lots to watch for later today, and we know you'll be on it. Mike, thank you so much.
And as the president plans to visit hard-hit Puerto Rico, new NBC News polling shows support is slipping among Latino voters. Democrats currently hold a 21-point lead over Republicans in Congress, but that number is down from 26 points from this time last year and 13 points from 2018. Latinos are a key voting demographic for both parties and could be influential in the midterm elections. NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray joins us now with a closer look at those numbers. Mark, good morning to you. If you could walk us through why Democrats are losing ground with so many Latino voters, what are some of the issues Latinos are backing Republicans on, and where are they still supporting Democrats?
Yeah, we first saw this in the vote in 2020, where Donald Trump ended up making some surprising gains versus Joe Biden in that presidential contest. And we ended up having a very large poll looking solely at the Latino electorate, which showed that 54% of Latinos end up wanting Democrats to control Congress versus 33%. But as you mentioned, that is down from previous cycles, including a 42-point lead for Democrats when it comes to in 2012. And on the issues where the Democrats have the advantage, it's on places like abortion, healthcare, addressing the concerns of the Latino community. Republicans, though, have the advantage on the economy, on crime, and on the situation at the border.
And Mark, NBC polling also included approval ratings of Biden as president. What stood out to you about those results? And are there any red flags for the Biden administration?
Yeah, his approval rating is at 51% versus 45% who disapprove. And overall, you might end up saying that's a really good number for President Joe Biden, given his overall approval rating. And our most recent national poll was at 45%. But this is way down from past Democratic performance, including former President Barack Obama, whose approval rating was in around the 70% area during his presidency. And so Joe Biden is above water with Latino voters, but he's not doing as certainly as high as we've seen from recent Democratic presidents.
And so a bottom line here, with the midterms now just a little more than a month away, who do Latinos in general want to see in control of Congress? And what can each party do to try to connect with them?
Yeah, on that second question, is getting those people out to vote. My colleague Natasha Korecki has a piece noting that there are Democratic observers and strategists in Nevada, and that key state that's going to hold Senate and gubernatorial contests, that want to be able to get their voters out. And of course, Republicans want to get their own Republicans voters who've been leaning towards them out. But maybe the biggest takeaway of all from our poll is just how diverse the Latino electorate is, where you end up having women are overwhelmingly backing Democrats. Men are actually a little bit less. You end up having Catholic Latinos overwhelmingly backing Democrats, non-Catholic Latinos a little bit less. And so a lot of the same divides on geography, on when it comes to gender, and also when it comes to religion that we see in our normal politics are also playing out with a Latino electorate.
Makes sense. An important note there. There's so much diversity within the Latino community. All right, Mark, thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.